Good evening, I'm Maham Pawa with the news-making headlines around the world. The Council of Ministers holds its weekly session and discuss issues related to the housing, care and involvement of youth in business. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry holds talks with the Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki as more cities fall in militants' hold. The European Union announces fresh sanctions on 12 Syrian government ministers, accusing them of serious human rights violations. And Tehran and Moscow agree to cooperate in building 2 new nuclear power plants in Bushehr province. In our first item, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah received at Sif Palace today His Excellency the former National Assembly Speaker Jassim Mohammed Al-Khrafi. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah received at Sif Palace today the Minister of Finance Anas Khalid Al-Saleh and the Governor of the Central Bank of Kuwait Dr. Mohammed Yusuf Al-Hashel, where they presented His Highness with the new edition of Kuwait currency. The meeting was attended by the Deputy Minister of the Emir Diwan Affairs Sheikh Ali Jarrah Al-Sabah. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah today sent a cable of congratulations to the Grand Duke of Luxembourg, Henry, on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Highness the Emir wished the Grand Duke and Duchess good health and to his country everlasting development and prosperity. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to the Grand Duke of Luxembourg, Henry, on the occasion of his country's National Day. And His Highness Sheikh Jabir Al-Mubarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent a similar cable. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah received at his Diwan in Sif Palace today His Excellency the former National Assembly Speaker Jassim Mohammed Al-Khrafi. His Highness the Crown Prince also received the Minister of Finance Anas Khalid Al-Saleh and the Governor of the Central Bank of Kuwait Dr. Mohammed Yusuf Al-Hashel, where they presented His Highness with the new edition of Kuwait currency. His Highness the Crown Prince also received at Sif Palace today the Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs and Acting Minister of Justice Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Al-Mubarak Al-Sabah. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Subah received at Sif Palace today the Honorary President of Kuwait Handicap Sporting Club Sheikh Al Abdullah Al Khalifa Al Subah and Chairman and the club players on the occasion of winning the trophy of the West Asia International Tournament of Basketball on wheelchairs. The tournament was played in the United Arab Emirates, and the club players have now qualified for the Asian Games Championship, which will be held in Korea in October. His Highness the Crown Prince congratulated the players for their big achievement and for grabbing several advanced positions thanks to the efforts exerted by the administrative and technical teams in the handicapped club. His Highness called for greater cooperation and coordination among all athletes in order to improve Kuwait sports, in which the youth proved their capability to meet challenges and overcome their handicaps. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Head of His Highness the Crown Prince Diwan Sheikh Mbarak Al Faisal Saud Al Subah.
مبارك لأبنائنا على هذا الفوز اللي حققوه الحقيقة، ورفعوا علم بلدهم في المحافل الدولية، وهذا ليس بغريب أو على أبناء الكويت. قاموا الحقيقة بمجهود متواصل وتعاون جماعي، فهذا اللي من قصدي من تعاون جماعي من مدربين ومشرفين ولاعبين، فهذا الحقيقة حققوا هذا النجاح وهذا الفوز. يسعدنا الحقيقة، وإحنا سعداء. يعني أنا أشوف أبناء الكويت يقفزوا لهذه المسؤولية، وهذا إصرارهم وعزيمتهم وصلتهم إلى هذا
أكيد لا شك.
ولا شك أنه أيضا يعني نيابة عن صاحب السمو والد الجميع والإصالة عن نفسي وهنيكم وبارك لكم إن شاء الله، والتوفيق والنجاح في بطولات قادمة إن شاء الله بإذن الله. وفقكم الله لما في خير وصالح خدمة وطنكم، شرفتم وطنكم ومثلتوا خير التمثيل في المحافل الدولية. بارك الله فيكم، وإلى إن شاء الله بطولات قادمة إن شاء الله تحققون أيضا المزيد من هذه البطولات بمجهودكم وتعاونكم جميعا. إن شاء الله تحققون، تأخذون الكويت أصب عيونكم، ترى هو
إن شاء الله
إن شاء الله تحققون كله. احنا الواحد بيفخر فيكم، يعني الآخرين ما وصلوا إلى هذا المرحلة اللي
هذه شهادة نعتز فيها.
نعم.
هذه شهادة
ما وصلوا هذا المرحلة وأنتم وصلتوا، وهذا
الحمد لله
يعني نفخر فيه جميعا. احنا الكويت كلها تفخر فيه، رفعتوا علم الكويت في المحافل الدولية، وهذا تستحقونها يا شباب الكويت. بارك الله فيكم.
The National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem received the Minister of Finance Anas Khalid Al Saleh and the Governor of the Central Bank of Kuwait Dr. Mohammed Yusuf Al Hashel, who presented to him the new edition of Kuwait currency, which will go on the market on the 29th of June. The banknotes presented to Mr. Al Ghanem carried the serial number 3, as serial number 1 and 2 were presented to His Highness the Emir and His Highness the Crown Prince respectively. The meeting was attended by the Chairman of the Committee of Financial and Economic Affairs Faisal Al Shaya and members of the Committee of Budgets and Closing Accounts Dr. Yusuf Al Zalzala. The Council of Ministers welcomed in its weekly session today, under the chairmanship of His Highness Sheikh Jabir al-Mbarak al-Hamad al-Subah, the Prime Minister, the current visit to Kuwait by His Excellency Thammam Salam, Prime Minister of the Lebanese Republic, and his accompanying delegation. The Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs and Acting Minister of Justice Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah al-Mbarak al-Subah said Prime Minister Salam's visit to Kuwait comes in the framework of the deep relations between the two countries and their determination to further consolidate their cooperation in all domains. He added that the Council of Ministers was briefed by the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs about this participation in the 41st Ministerial Meeting of the Organization of Islamic Conference, which convened in Jeddah on the 18th and 19th of June. The OIC Foreign Ministers issued Jeddah Declaration, which renewed the commitment of all members to its goals and principles, including coordination of their joint efforts to strengthen unity and solidarity in the organization so as to safeguard their common interest at the international arena. He also spoke about the meetings which he held with several counterparts on the sidelines of the OIC Ministerial Conference. The Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs and Acting Minister of Justice added that the Council of Ministers adopted a recommendation submitted by its Economic Committee to set 15,000 Kuwaiti dinars as a symbolic price for all housing plots in the two housing projects of Sabahiyya and Abu Hlayfa. The Council of Ministers asked the Public Authority for House Care to take the necessary measures for implementation. This decision was intended to speed up the implementation of the Public Authority vision for bringing about a solution to the housing problem. With a view to engaging Kuwait youth in the economy and investment, the Council of Ministers was briefed by the Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs, Sheikh Salman Subah Salim Lahmoud al-Subah, on the proposal submitted by the Youth Permanent Committee set up by the Council of Ministers to improve work environment and facilitate procedures for the youth involvement in business and investment. The Council of Ministers also discussed the National Assembly affairs as well as the latest political developments on the Arab and international arenas. His Highness Sheikh Jabir al-Mbarak al-Hamad al-Subah, the Prime Minister, received the Minister of Finance, Anas Khalid al-Saleh, and the Governor of Central Bank of Kuwait, Dr. Mohammed Yusuf al-Hashil, who presented to him the new edition of Kuwait currency, which will go on the market on the 29th of June. His Excellency, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defense, Sheikh Khalid al-Jarrah al-Subah, received at his office today His Excellency Ambassador of the Kingdom of Norway to the State of Kuwait, Mr. Steen Andre Berg. The Deputy Premier and Minister of Defense also received at his office today His Excellency the Ambassador of Japan to the State of Kuwait, Mr. Toshiro Tsushira. Talks during both meetings covered issues of mutual interest and means of promoting cooperation between the State of Kuwait and their countries. The Deputy Premier and Minister of Defense wished the ambassadors all the best of success in their mission for further strengthening the existing relations between their countries and the State of Kuwait. The meetings were attended by His Excellency Deputy Army Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Mohammed Khalid al-Khudr and Assistant Army Chief of Staff for Intelligence and Security Major General Abd al-Rahman al-Hatoud. The Deputy Premier and Minister of Defense also received Sergeant Salim Abdullah al-Shimmari, member of Kuwait Army, who won third place in the World Military Boxing Championship, which was held in Kazakhstan. The Committee of the Capital Governorate of Kuwait Municipality Council held its weekly session today, attended by the newly appointed governors of the capital, Major General Thabit Limhanna. The session included a workshop that discussed various issues related to the area of the capital, Kuwait. Here is more on the session in this report with Salim Al-Kendari.
Part of the weekly agenda of the Municipality Council, the Committee of the Capital Governorate held a workshop which was attended by the newly appointed Governorate of the capital, Major General Thabit Al-Mhanna. Various issues were discussed during this session.
We have a meeting today. Actually, it is a workshop for the Capital Committee in the Municipal Council. And our guest today is the Governor of the capital, Mr. Thabit Al-Mhanna. And we had previous actually discussion with him regarding the Kuwait capital and the downtown, and we all noticed that this spot of the area is very important for Kuwait, and it requires a lot of development. And as we see, it is highly deteriorated, and there are different changes in the last 20 years. There are different changes in the land use, and we all are noticing the high-rise buildings, the new buildings. At the same time, we have the old buildings are available. The major problem in the downtown and in the capital is, especially the financial part of it, is the infrastructure systems. The infrastructure system is highly deteriorated, and the capacity is still as the old one, the old designed capacities. And based on the different uses and the changes in the uses of the last 20 years, those capacities supposed to be improved, and the deteriorated infrastructure system must be upgraded. That's why we are all noticing the traffic. We are all noticing some difficulties while in the infrastructure and in the smoothness of the surfaces over there. At the same time, the area, almost half of it is empty, open spaces. So we should have a plan, and the Kuwait municipality, especially the master plan division, they have a future plan for the downtown and the capital, considering the vision of His Highness the Emir, or his ambition actually, to transfer the capital to an international financial and commercial center. So this ambition requires a lot of legislations, policies that meets this ambition. It's very important now for the municipality to plan, to actually proper planning for the development of the capital. Our workshop today, the advantage of the workshop today is the attendance of the governor. We have a common plan to improve the services in the downtown of Kuwait, especially the commercial part of it. At the same time, the improvement of the infrastructure, as we said. And there are some issues related to the beauty and the cleanness of the capital. We will discuss it. It is a first meeting with him and with the municipality, the officials in the municipality. We assume it's going to be a very fruitful meeting in this workshop, and the outcomes and the recommendation will be followed up in order to improve the services. And later we can generalize those recommendations for the other 5 governorates in Kuwait.
Each governorate has its committee that overlooks developing issues of its area, discuss upcoming issues such as urbanizations, and cooperate with other committees to come up with unified suggestions that are finalized by the council and presented for both the municipality, the parliament, and the government. Today's workshop was conducted by Capital Governorate's Committee, which discussed various issues, among them developing public utilities, the general hygiene, and the overview of the capital. From Kuwait Municipality Council, this is Salim Kandiri reporting for the English News.
The European Union announced fresh sanctions on 12 Syrian government ministers today, accusing the officials of responsibility for serious human rights violations. The move puts the officials under an EU travel ban and asset freeze. The names of the ministers will only be released tomorrow when the measure takes effect. Today's decision means the EU has now targeted 191 Syrian officials plus 53 companies with sanctions, including the Syrian Central Bank. However, the EU is divided on key questions in Syria, including whether to aim or to arm the opposition. EU foreign ministers also discussed in Luxembourg the crisis in Iraq following further advances by militants. And in our final item tonight, Kuwait Stock Exchange headed down today, stepping from yesterday's gains. Price index shed 0.73% to 6,972.89 points. The weight index slid 0.5% to close at 471.51 points, and the KSX 15 retreated 0.68% to close at 1,148.08 points. The total transactions amounted to 3,658, worth about 18 million Kuwaiti dinars, with around 149 million shares changing hands. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. Well, with that, we conclude our news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Have a pleasant time. I'm Maham Pawa. Before we go, we remind you once again of our main top stories. Have a pleasant time and good night. The Council of Ministers holds its weekly session and discusses issues related to the housing, care and involvement of youth in business. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry holds talks with the Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki as more cities fall in militants' hold. The European Union announces fresh sanctions on 12 Syrian government ministers, accusing them of serious human rights violations. And Tehran and Moscow agreed to cooperate in building 2 new nuclear power plants in Bushehr province.